In this video, we'll talk about the stunning new image delivered by the world's most powerful telescope. A new era of space stories is dawning, and the James Webb Space Telescope is at the center of it. The world will see the vast universe in a new light, and it's all thanks to this telescope that will change the way we see the universe forever. So let's catch up on the latest image the Webb telescope took. The scientific community is in awe of the new James Webb Space Telescope images. NASA has promised to release the first images taken by the JWST on July 12th, and the day is finally here. The telescope will allow the world to feast their eyes on the deepest views of the universe, and astronomers can now see things that were literally smudges in the initial photos. That's where the most complex and powerful observatory ever deployed comes into play. The James Webb Space Telescope has been specifically designed to capture data from the deepest and farthest parts of our unending universe. The telescope was rigorously tested and is famously in the shape of origami so that it can be folded up to fit inside a payload fairing. It would then unfold to its intended form once it reached its destination in space. The telescope cost a whopping $10 billion and was a joint venture between NASA, Canadian Space Agency, and European Space Agency. The observatory launched back in December 2021, and since then, it has successfully reached the L2 Lagrange point, unfolded, and commissioned its science instruments. And now it has started sending the most stunning images of deep space ever to grace the scientific community. This mammoth of a telescope has 18 segmented mirrors arranged in a honeycomb configuration, while its diameter is almost 3 times the size of Hubble's primary mirror. After NASA revealed a test image from the telescope in the direction of the constellation Ursa Major of a star 2,000 light-years from Earth, it was evident that the real images would start to come in. It'll be an astronomical party. The previous record of taking the deepest field image of the universe belonged to our very own Hubble telescope, which was part of the Hubble Ultra Deep Field. The picture included 10,000 galaxies of different colors, distances, and ages in the direction of the constellation Fornax. Some 100 galaxies in the photo are said to date back to some 800 million years after the Big Bang. But JWST has taken a leap into the future, as the galaxies focused on the image date back to only a few hundred years after the Big Bang. This means that we're actually looking at the past in the present, almost like time traveling. Yes, time traveling isn't as fancy as shown in the Avengers. Scientists are being dramatic and calling James Webb looking through the darkness and taking pictures of the earliest galaxies that weren't visible before, thanks to its advanced infrared imaging capabilities. Humans today are witnessing a new golden era of astronomy, and it's the time to be alive. President Biden unveils JWST's first image. The big reveal is happening, and who better than the President of the United States to take the curtains off the most stunning image ever taken? That's right, President Joe Biden has just unveiled the deepest and sharpest image ever taken of our universe by the James Webb Space Telescope. A fresh batch of photos has arrived, but NASA will be giving people a slow dose of what is being said as a breakthrough of how the universe was previously seen. Well, we can't thank Hubble enough for at least giving us smudges, but JWST is on a whole new level. The first glimpse of the telescope's advanced technology to look into deep space is here, and its focus is SMACS 0723. It used gravitational lensing, where a massive group of galaxy clusters act as a magnifying glass, and that's why most of the galaxies in the image would seem bent. The gravitational lens helps in magnifying the objects behind them, and that's how we're now seeing incredible distant galaxies that weren't visible before. This clarity will also give astronomers a chance to study dark energy and dark matter in more detail. They'll also be able to use great accuracy in simulating the evolution of cosmic structures. As for the image, you wouldn't believe that the galaxy cluster featured in it is shown as it appeared 4.6 billion years ago. The James Webb Telescope used its near-infrared camera to take images at different wavelengths of light over 12.5 hours to produce the stunning image we've witnessed today. The space mission is expected to last 10 to 20 years, which means we'll have plenty of time to see back in time just a tad bit after the Big Bang to witness what the first galaxies and stars look like. James Webb Space Telescope gives the sharpest image of the universe ever. The historic launch of the James Webb Space Telescope went smoothly, and now, since it has calibrated the cameras and sensors, their first image has come in, and it's everything that the scientific community expected it to be. The first image will be one of the 10 to 20 photos that NASA will release as the first batch from the telescope. As for the big reveal, we have the first color photo from Webb's first deep field, and it looks like something out of a sci-fi movie. But the jaw-dropping moment is that this image is only a tiny speck of the universe. Literally, the patch that the telescope covered is as big as a grain of sand held at an arm's length on the ground. That's how much the patch covers the sky. It's mind-boggling. Astronomers are saying that it's just the beginning. The first preview from the telescope was an engineered image taken by the telescope's fine guidance sensor, while the recent image is just the first science-quality image from JWST. The most powerful space telescope in the world will target these objects. The James Webb Telescope is ready to rock and roll and sending out images that are shocking the scientific community. The first images came on July 12th, and the most powerful telescope in the world has its lenses set on other targets as well. The new observatory will also observe exoplanets, but for the time being, it will be targeting a few nebulas and a giant gas planet, WASP 96b. NASA released a list of targets for the Webb telescope, which will be featured in the first science-quality images. An international committee of scientists from the Space Telescope Science Institute in Maryland, NASA, the Canadian Space Agency, and the European Space Agency selected the targets for the next generation telescope. These targets will include the Southern Ring Nebula, which is almost 2,000 light-years from Earth and surrounds a dying star. Another nebula that will be on the telescope's radar will be one of the brightest nebulas, the Carina Nebula. The telescope will focus on long finger-like structures of cosmic dust and gas known as the Pillars of Destruction. It's housed in the nebula and is only 7,600 light-years away from our blur planet. JWST will also capture a compact galaxy group called Stephan's Quintet and SMACS J0723.3-7327. Astronomers brought to tears after Webb Space new images. The images from the James Webb Space Telescope were so beautiful that they brought the Associate Administrator for NASA's Scientific Mission Directorate to tears. Thomas Zurbuchen couldn't help but tear up over the marvel the Webb telescope has allowed us to witness. What previously looked like orange smudges have now brightened into detailed pictures of unseen galaxies. The $10 billion telescope was the talk of the town since its inception, and now, when it's finally sending out data, people can't help but get emotional. Zurbuchen said in a news conference that the telescope has provided a new worldview of the cosmos, and that the images are being taken right now. He already mentioned that it was an emotional moment, and that they'd already gathered some history-making data. Apart from the deep field image, a picture of an exoplanet will also be featured in an upcoming press release, along with spectral data obtained from the telescope's suite of spectrographs. These advanced instruments will allow astronomers to study chemical signatures from distant planets, which will reveal the atmosphere's composition, everything that's associated with habitability. We know where they're getting this. The Webb telescope uses these instruments to make magic. While it's hard to talk about the JWST's technicalities, in one video, there's a few highlights about the telescope's most prominent instruments, which are taking stunning photos. The observatory has completed its calibration and testing on 3 scientific instruments, including the near-infrared camera, or the NIRCam. This tool helps the telescope detect light from early galaxies and stars. It's the primary tool to look deep into space where no telescope has ever gone before. This instrument helps block out the light from stars so the telescope can detect the bodies around it. The next is the fine guidance sensor, or the near-infrared imager, that detects early light sources and identifies exoplanets. The third one is the mid-infrared instrument, or MIRI, which helps examine the mid-infrared part of the electromagnetic spectrum with a combination of a spectrograph and a camera. All this information is every science geek's romance novel. And that's a wrap for this video. Are you excited to see the next images from the James Webb Telescope? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.